So, what is spiritualism anyway? What is this whole meditation and religion and all this stuff all about? And why is science, just so much against it? Well, science is against those things, mysticism, religion, spiritualism, because it can't be measured and repeated. You can't put mysticism in a test tube and stir it together, and out comes the religion of choice, and have somebody else do it across town and get the same result. So, science, the whole scientific method is completely out of the question in these areas. But that's not exactly the case, because it can, and it is kind of being all tied together. And bear in mind that it was all separated by this inquisition of the church back in, like 400 years ago, where they were hanging and burning scientists, stoning them to death if they came up with something that was different than the teachings of their church. So science had an agreement with the church that they'll only study physical objects and the things we have around here on this earth, and won't go into any of the spiritualness of subjects and things. So that agreement saved a lot of lives. And in the process, over time, scientists started to believe. In other words, they just had this agreement with the church. They didn't necessarily stop studying spiritualism and science as one thing, but they presented it to the public in a way that the church would allow it. And over the generations, the scientists kind of forgot that they were just hiding this from the church, basically, and started to believe that there wasn't anything except for the physical world. And now we have this scientific method that will only consider things that are repeatable in a clinical setting, so to speak, or in a laboratory. And a lot of this stuff is not studyable that way. Some may be. A lot of it really does look a lot like quantum physics, especially when you start looking in the Eastern teachings and philosophies. Quantum physics and Hinduism and Buddhism and stuff like that really look very similar. In other words, you can take things from quantum physics and interpret them the same as a Hindu text, for example. And matter of fact, back in I want to say the late 60s, early 70s, science was at one of these stages in the game, and it gets there periodically, like we are again, where they go, well, we've learned everything. There's just a few things that we have left undone, but those are coming around the corner, so there's no reason for people to really get into physics and sciences like that, because all the problems have been solved. There's not going to be anything for them to do. And there really wasn't any jobs around in physics, especially particle physics and things like that. And there's a book out. It's called "How the Hippies Saved Physics," I think. And it talks about how this group of San Francisco hippies linked quantum theory to Hinduism and Buddhism, and it kind of reignited physics again. And all of a sudden, quantum physics started becoming real popular. And a lot of it was just to disprove that quantum physics didn't have anything to do with these mystical traditions and stuff. But I really think it does. I really think that the Eastern teachings and stuff, they talk about the oneness of the universe, and the you can interpret wave theory, that everything is a vibration, like Buddhism talks about, or Hinduism, one of those two. And that's really what quantum field theory says too. And there's a whole lot of these things, and it's just amazing how many of the scientists are sticking to their guns and digging their boots in. And also, what's amazing is how many are starting to realize the mistake and realize that they have bought into their lie 400 years ago and forgot that they were just joking or hiding, or I'm searching for words that aren't coming.